Hi, I'm Katie Lowry. I'm currently serving on the Vision Council for Hawley Lutheran Church, and I'm also a part of our call team.
I'm Pat Sparrow, and I'm on the call team.
So, Pastor Darwin, how are we currently serving our congregation in relation to pastoral care?
Well, hello, everybody. I'm glad to join these young ladies in our session of a kind of a snapshot to answer some questions concerning our church and future work with an associate pastor that may be helping us out at the church. And I'm glad to share this information with you about our church these next few weeks. I really do stand in awe for what our church stands for and continues to do for the work of the Lord Jesus Christ here in our church among its members and in the community. Our mission and theme for our church is right according to God's holy word. And you are familiar with it, I'm sure. It says, we exist to welcome or call, invite all people to lifelong faith in Jesus Christ. It really echoes the Great Commission in Matthew chapter 28, where, according to the Stahl translation, says, as you go about making your daily living, make disciples and followers of Jesus who will know and love and serve him. Now, I wanted to just for a moment remind you to look at the church newsletter, the connection that we all know. I hope that all of you read it from cover to cover, which I do. This is an amazing thing that we have today to be able to communicate and share with people in our church. When I started out in ministry, we had the mimeograph machine. Do you remember? You probably don't even remember that, but some of you do. And that is where, when I got done with the church newsletter, there was ink all over the machine, the wall, and myself, and not much on the paper that I was trying to make. But in this newsletter, it's a wonderful kind of a bulletin that tells the entire program of our church and all of the groups that are taking part and ministering for the Lord Jesus. It tells us there that we have 2 weekly church services, Sunday and Wednesday evening. We have 2 weekly Bible schools, Sunday and Wednesday. We have junior high and senior high youth programs. We have confirmation classes. We have 8 Bible studies that I know of that some of you in the congregation are leading here in church and in our community. The Altar Society helps to keep the sanctuary looking beautiful for worship and other things. Ladies' Aid Society, the Outreach Mission Team, Music Ministry, administrative councils and committees of the church. We have Senior Fellowship, XYZ, Befrienders, and I'm sure I'm missing something. But our church has 1,200 on its membership roll. This is in just the way of a few statistics, and these are round numbers. 450 are active, confirmed members, and 350 of those, roughly about 75%, are 65 and younger. 100, or about 25%, of our confirmed members are 66 years old or older. And we just lost a few weeks ago our oldest member, who was Edna McDougall, who was 104. We have 9 active befrienders who visit these individuals of the older senior citizens group of our church once a month. Pastor Andrea adds her visits to this group, which we have numbered as our high priority members and friends that need to be visited. She adds her visits about once every 3 to 4 months. She also visits at the nursing home once a month, along with other pastors in our community, for a worship service and communion for our members and anyone else that would like to help. So that totals some 300 plus visits per year that we are involved in as a congregation to others within our church and community. Now, added to that, I know that some of you out in the congregation visit very regularly, members and friends and neighbors, and you stay in touch with them. You care about them, you wonder how they're doing, or if you can help in any way. So what all of this means is that besides that group that needs visiting once a month that we do through Befrienders and our pastor, everybody else is mobile, can come and go, in and out, visit church regularly or as they can. And that allows them to bring any questions they have or share their needs with the church. And we are grateful for that, to be able to do that. Now, having said all of that, soon after I came here as a part-time pastor in visitation and pastoral care, we probably had what was a perfect or a very ideal pastoral staff. We had one full-time pastor, we had one full-time assistant pastor who also directed the children's and the family's ministry. We had a full-time senior and junior youth director and part-time visitation pastor, which was myself, and a huge number of volunteers. Today, we have one lead pastor full-time and a part-time children's and families director. Of course, we've got a huge team of volunteers, too. So as you can see, this places a heavy load on our solo pastor, who enthusiastically and willingly does her best to oversee the church program in its entirety. So what can we do at present? We can continue to pray for our church and programs. We can pray for our staff and the volunteers. We can pray for Pastor Andrea and find a way, each one of us individually, to be involved some way and some place in ministry in the larger picture of our church ministry. Next week, we will look at a snapshot of a solo pastor's responsibilities, how we care for our pastor, why we created a pastoral call team to find an associate pastor. Now, a big thanks goes to our Vision Council and our call team, and to Dave for taping our snapshots. Further questions that you may have may be directed to our call team. They are people that you know in our congregation: Jana Fisher, Shelby Doyle, Mark Haugen, Christy Retta Penning, Pat Sparrow, Luke Vidston, and Katie Lowry, and myself. Thank you for listening and praying. See you next week. Okay, Dave, that's a wrap.